Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War raid stream, week 31, day 7. So today we're going to be going over some spoilers, of course, that are going to be coming out next week. I'll have the event video up soon as you know, the event switches over. Hopefully we'll be able to get it out at a decent time this time. Probably going to go actually to bed a little bit earlier just so I wake up early. Because that seems to be the best bet, because whenever I try like staying up to go do it, it normally doesn't work out that well, and it normally makes it even more delayed because then it delays everything else I was going to do throughout the day. But anyways, in other news, things are happening next week. It's a okay week. Oops, I am doing that on the wrong page. Hold up, wrong page. There we go. So, things that we have, I was clicking on the stream as if it would do that, but I have to click on the game itself, fail. But anyways, so next week, Dragon's Claw event. This is pretty relevant in just the kingdom itself. Event keys are pretty valuable. If you don't own Dragon Soul, you should throw like every last event key you have if you're in early game. Like you really should make sure you have Dragon Soul by the end of next week if you are like below level 1000. Maybe even not. Even if you don't have Dragon Soul in general, you should be throwing event keys next week until you have Dragon Soul. It is that good of a troop. It is the best soul farming troop in the game. It has a nice full AoE that can clear out Explore 2 in 3 hits while gaining max capacity of souls. Works really good with other soul-related troops and is okay in pretty much a lot of early to mid-game teams. It's pretty strong. It falls off a little bit later in the game, but still great for soul farming. So definitely worth opening event keys next week. As far as the troop that's coming in for Glory, the first one we have here is the gosh, what are these words? Siofrostinef? The Frost Dragon. No, but then Glaceon could be Frost Dragon. I'm trying to think of something else I could call him. There's no way I'm going to pronounce that word. Siofrostinef? Siofrostinef. Say in the comment section how badly we mispronounce that. Anyways, it deals damage to all enemies and then frees 1 to 4 random enemies. This is a bit better than Demonstraxia, mostly because Demonstraxia has a low chance to burn all enemies. However, it doesn't have, if it ends up missing that % chance, it doesn't get any burns at all. This is a little bit more consistent, even though it won't necessarily always do a 3 or 4 freeze. It'll at least get at minimum 1 freeze. And of course, freeze is very potent to get at least 1 off, especially if you can get 4 of them. Overall, this troop's not really going to be used much. It is an epic. It's a little bit of a cheaper freeze. However, Frost Mage is still a better option. And Frost Mage can do so for very cheap. All you have to do is fully trade it, as well as get it to like level 5. Never mind, it gets Snap Freeze on like level 1. So yeah, it's better probably to go Frost Mage in most situations. But overall, it's average. Nothing really too special. If nothing else, you'll be able to stock up on green-blue arcanes, which is a pretty good arcane to get a lot of due to the empowers and just decent troops that are under green-blue in general. Like all the empowers, web spinner, stuff like that, apothecary. A lot of decent options underneath green-blue that you'd want to consider trading up if you haven't already. Other than that, we are getting ourselves a legendary. Even more of a reason to open up event keys next week is, yeah, we are getting a new legend. So aside from being able to get Dragon Soul and everything, you'll be able to get this. It creates 6 blue gems boosted by frozen enemies. That boost ratio is 2. So based on the max amount you could potentially get, that would be 8. So that would be a total of 14 blue gem spawn. That is not too bad. Unfortunately, she does not use blue herself. Which is a little bit unfortunate. However, she can create a potentially 14 blue. And then she deals 22 damage to the first enemy, and sorry, to the first and last enemies. And then that's boosted by blue gems at a 2 times boost ratio as well. So I believe both of those are at 2 times. I believe they both fall under the same ratio. I didn't realize she had a double boost, but yeah, they both should be at 2 times, unless the card specifies otherwise. Other than that, she does have 25% chance to do a Dragonite, which makes, or Dragonette, I mean, which makes it even more annoying to go do this kingdom. You should never ever be farming Explorer in this kingdom. It has way too many revive, and just got another one. And it also has the very interesting trait of 75% spell reduction, even more of a reason than ever Explorer in Dragon's Claw. But that is obviously the highest spell reduction in the game. That is like the Gorgotha of spell reduction. That alone could potentially make this okay as a blue mana generator. It's still going to be situational because she doesn't have freeze herself, so you're going to have to use it with Frost Mage if you're going to bother doing it. But yeah, it definitely has a lot of potential. Counts as a Dragon Centaur. Does have some synergy in there, as there are other Dragon Centaurs in the game. I believe there's 3. Her, Roadbreaker, and Dragatar. So those 3. I believe there's only 3. I don't think there's a 4th. But those 3. So there is some synergy within that. And other than that, yeah, she's mostly going to be used for 75% spell reduction, is basically what she's going to be used for. She's the Gorgotha of spell reduction. Still probably going to be a little bit overwhelming, though, underwhelming, mostly for the same reason that Gorgotha is, in that all you have to do is stun it, and you pretty much just counter it completely. If she gets stunned, she does lose her entire 75% spell reduction. Only way to kind of bypass that would be to have Bless spam on your team. However, I'm not sure if it'd be worth it because you not only need to put Freeze on your team to make her work, but you also need Bless spam. So unless we get some kind of like Bless Freeze into the future off of some kind of other mythic, I don't foresee this being ultra meta. But if we ever do, if we ever get something that both blesses your team while freezing the enemy, she'll be potentially decent. But until then, I don't foresee her being used much. Definitely don't go into a really heavy spell battle trying to face her, just because obviously it would take forever. But other than that, she should be pretty easy to take out. Not to mention Skull Spam is going to just rip her apart, as most troops would. Yeah, it's okay. It's definitely worth considering getting, especially with how good the Dragon's Claw Kingdom drop table is. So definitely advise opening up event keys, especially if you don't want Dragon Soul, because that's more important in this troop. But still, it's worth considering getting, as it will be used as a spell reduction utility in very niche instances, particularly Guild Wars probably, as a defense against a team to hard counter it. Like, for example, a team that you know doesn't have any stun and doesn't have any kind of mechanic that's going to be bad to her, that you can end up synergizing her with. And there's also quite a bit of freeze underneath the purple color. You could also use Glacial. Never mind, Glacial won't work. It has full overlap. But purple has quite a few freezes that you could end up synergizing with her to try to make work. And worst comes to worst, you could just do Frost Mage with it, if nothing else. But anyways, that's a new legend that's coming out in Event Key Drop Table. And other than that, as far as a few other events we have going on next week, of course, next weekend is Easter. As far as some things that we have leading up to it, we will be having a Brattle Crasher all week of Bunny Nog. Not sure what resource it gives, but hopefully it's like gold or something, as that tends to be one of the better ones whenever it drops 500 gold. So you'll be seeing a lot of Bunny Nogs over the next week. He does a lot of damage to Knights, so don't use any Knights this week because they are going to get obliterated by it. But other than that, it's an extremely weak troop. Other than that, we have ourselves... oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Wait. Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm reading the right one. I was like reading it as if it ended there. My bad. But yeah, we got the Battle Crasher obviously all week during the Easter week. We have ourselves the... Guild Wars, of course, so anything that we might want to go use for that, like the new Mythic or anything like that, we do have that available. And also, if you end up getting more Seasons, isn't this actually the first Guild Wars, actually? Now, I just almost forgot about that, because Seasons fell at a really weird location where it didn't fall into Guild Wars, did it? I believe this is actually the first Guild Wars with Seasons, right? I'm pretty sure it is, because of when it fell. Right? Wait, is it not? I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's the first Guild War with Seasons, if not the second one. But anyways, faction this Tuesday is going to be for Lesers there. That was pretty recently, so if you need to get that up, it's still going to be around. On this Wednesday, we're going to be getting a new pet. It's just an Easter pet. It's completely cosmetic. Thursday, we'll have Dragon's Claw class event. Oh yeah, it is. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Just wanted to double check. But yeah, it's our first event, or it's the first Guild Wars where we have access to Seasons, which is going to be pretty potent because there's a lot of things you could do with Seasons in Guild Wars. Might even need to cover it some in the Monday video, just because it is worth mentioning, as it's pretty potent because it's a really diverse. It works for basically any team. If you set like 2 seasons to 20% or 3 seasons, it's pretty much just a generic thing you can set to anything and ends up being good. So yeah, don't forget to set your seasons for Guild War, because if you're going to be playing, you're going to have to worry about whatever medals you currently have affects your defend team. So if you're going to be playing at a given time and people are going to be attacking your defend team, you want to have a medal set up that will both work for you while you're playing as well as while you're defending, because your defend team has to always use the same one that you're offending with at any given time. So Seasons is pretty good for that because it covers pretty much all grounds and it won't hinder really either side too much. You'll still be able to play at pretty much the normal rate while you're playing, and while people are attacking you during that time, during Guild Wars, you'll still have a really good medal setup that will work for basically any team in the game. So definitely worth considering setting, nonetheless. But anyways, Thursday, we got Dragon's Claw class of Dragon Guard. It's an okay hero class, nothing too special. It's rather average. If 50% Mana Star ever happened on Dragons, it'd probably be relevant. But until that point, it's just going to be a rather average hero class. Though quite a few people are probably still in the EXP on it, so you can get some free XP if nothing else. And other than that, the most noteworthy thing happening probably all week, other than this Monday, will be the Vault event. Vault event lasts all this weekend. It starts on Friday and goes until through all of Easter until Monday reset, the following Monday. Definitely worth considering farming it up, as it gives you a lot more resources than you normally would be able to due to the increase in gnomes. The best way to farm it is either to spam 1 trophy PvP or to go and do Explorer at a really low level, like Explorer 2, Explorer 3, and just quick kill it. You'll end up getting a lot of loot, a lot of gem-related value loot as well, like vault keys, like gems, like gem keys, like event keys, like glory. There's a lot of loot that you can end up getting during this time, and you can normally get it at a much, much higher rate. For example, you can farm glory at like multiple times quicker than you would by any other means. You could actually farm more glory in the weekends of a Vault event than you can throughout the other 27 days of the month. So it's definitely worth considering farming up. And that's just that one resource alone. That's not even counting everything else they end up getting along with it. So it's definitely worth considering if you have time this Easter. And given that everyone will be socially isolating and most likely not be visiting family, you have plenty of time to do so, hopefully. But since most people are, not getting together this time of year because of circumstances. But anyways, yeah, that's everything that's happening this week. So we got a pretty good little Easter present then. They might even do a special flash offer for that weekend as well, given that it is an Easter weekend. So do be mindful of that if you spend money on the game. Anyways, also if they do end up doing emojis and stuff like that, do keep in mind you can get them after the fact, a couple months after the fact. All emojis and stuff do come in after the fact. Obviously, they'll be a little bit more irrelevant then if they add a bunch of Easter ones and then we get them at a later time. But every single emoji pack, every single portrait, every single title, they all come in to the game at a later point where you can buy them for a very cheap amount. Titles are 20, portraits are 25, and the emoji packs are 50, regardless of how many are actually in the pack. Also, I still have a lot of these I need to go and buy up. Let me go do that later. Our gems are a little low. Obviously, most of them aren't too relevant, but I like collecting them, because why not? Hey, we got Australia. Still didn't get Australia. There's the Valentine's Day set. So you guys are saying, if they did the Easter set, you can see we could already get the Valentine's Day set from 2 months ago. So that's actually came recycled pretty quickly then, because it's definitely from Valentine's Day. And that was less than 2 months ago, so that worked out cool. But anyways, let's go and actually get into some battles then. And say hello to everyone. I haven't even said hello to everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, Army X-Tube. Hello, Bill. Hello, Drock Savage. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Julio. Hello, James. Hello, Scout. Hello, Dinosuit Girl. Hello, Logan. Hello, Kalthos. Hello, Isabel. Hello, hello, Chad. Hello, Alan. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Stacy. Any kingdom in particular you think should focus on for farming? What do you mean as far as farming? Star levels? As far as star levels, you want to get the Magic Kingdoms to 5 first. 5 stars. Or 10 stars if you're working to 10 stars at this point. But I'm not sure exactly what you mean by farming. Do you mean explore spamming there? Do you mean leveling it with stars? Do you mean leveling it initially, like to level 10 or 15 or any of those? Well, the same ones that you level up with stars are the same order that you level up with Kingdom Star. I mean, with the normal levelage of the kingdom. So they both kind of line the same. You always go for Magic first. Hello, John. You used Apothecary with Mountain Crusher, the Wild Queen, and Mega. It ends up working out pretty well. Sounds like it would, because you could use Mountain Crusher, quick feed it, then just go throw down Wild Queen, spam it, and you have the Megavore to go and tear away armor if you need. So I personally found when I was messing with a team similar to that earlier, with Apothecary and everything, that you didn't really need to cast Megavore. I felt like the Wild Queen, at least in a PvP situation, was getting enough stats. It might have been just because I have slightly higher stats, I'm not sure. But I felt like it was constantly getting enough stats that I didn't need Megavore, to the point that you could maybe place it out for something else. Because I felt like most of those battles, I was only really using it for the 8% instant kill. But it's still good. Mountain Crusher and the Apothecary is a really, really potent combo for 2 big brown troops behind it. Almost any 2 big browns work behind it. That's even the best team that we basically use so far with the new Mythic. New Mythic is available all next week as well. I didn't mention that. But you still have until Friday reset. So you still have all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to go get the new Mythic if you're still looking for it. But yeah, this was the most viable team. And there's just a standard Mountain Crusher with Apothecary. I generally don't like showing teams like this. Though it is like one of the better ones. Just because it's such a generic team that I feel like I use way too much and show way too much. But it's this one. Basically, Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, any 2 browns, and you just auto-win. It's been a very potent combo for a while. Mainly because they're both 2 insanely good mana accumulators that constantly keep gaining barrier, that has a cleanse option, that can mass feed pretty much anything that's brown behind them. It's a really strong combo. Always worth considering. I feel like I mentioned it a bit too much. Kind of like Leprechaun teams. I feel like I overly spam Leprechaun teams whenever I make suggested videos. Or, for like team builds. And I feel bad constantly like mentioning the same things. Because it makes it seem like I'm being less creative with them. But in many instances, it's just because there isn't other options. And while I try diversifying sometimes I just have to re-mention the same teams over again. Just because they are viable. They are meta for a reason. And Mountain Crusher Apothecary winning 2 browns is still very high up there as far as strongest teams in the game. Let's see. We'll throw that down. And there we go. But yeah, as far as Mistralis, she's a bit above average. I don't feel like she has anything too broken yet, or at least I haven't seen anything too broken with her yet, as far as defend teams and what I've been able to explore for myself in various battles. Obviously, she's mostly a Guild War option, so we haven't actually got to see her in Guild Wars, so we'll kind of see next week. She's still available for next week too, of course, until Friday. So Thursday reset. So we'll probably mess with her at least one Guild War day. I'm not sure exactly what Guild War day I'll end up running her for, but we are likely going to run her for at least one Guild War day. See how she goes. If she works, she works. If she doesn't, she doesn't. That does seem like one of the more bigger purposes that she'll have overall. Also, hello, David. Welcome. Anyways, let's go get down some dailies and hand out a code. So we do have green deeds today, so don't forget to go grab those. We do have that, so pretty good loot. Green, if you haven't already done it, make sure to go max Zolkari first if you're going and trying to get it leveled. Zolkari is very, very good because it has a +1 magic. So if you're looking to get a level 15 kingdom, you should be putting all your greens into Zolkari because that will give you a +1 permanent magic. So if you're looking to spend your greens, they should only be going into Zolkari until you have Zolkari max. Quite a few people probably do, but anyone who's starting the game a little bit more recently or may have used their deeds at a slightly different location, you do want to consider going for Zolkari first on green, as is the best location to put your green deeds for value. Particularly getting it all the way to 15, if you can do so for the extra magic, which requires 3 Imperials and 30 of the green beads. And of course, we only got 4 today, but they add up over time. Obsidious and Wild Queen would be a better combo. Well, I was using it because it was showing the new Mythic and testing the new Mythic. That's the reason why we're using that team. Also because she has a lot of extra turn spam, which is fun to do. They had a new troop with skull spam is actually not that bad. Shuffle mechanic with skull spam is really good. The only big issue with it is that it has a really high mana cost of 25. I wouldn't really compare it to Amnesia in that way. However, she does have a little bit of a similarity in that they both have a mana accumulation method that is a little bit too expensive for their mana cost. Because a shuffle for 25, obviously she does more than that, but a shuffle for 25 is pretty expensive. I mean, if you look at Amnesia without the summon, an explode for 22 or whatever it is also pretty expensive. I think it used to be 24, but then was nerfed down a little bit. I mean, buffed up a little bit by going down. But, yeah, I guess it kind of does have the same problem that Amnesia does, I would say, this most recent Mythic. Less so than Amnesia, like, it's definitely way better than Amnesia. But I feel like they both suffer from... They have too high of a mana cost for their board control kind of situation. And while this one has a much better follow-up to its ability, it's still a bit pricey for a extra turn shuffle. There's troops that can do it for as cheap as 7 mana. And obviously she does more than just that, but it's still... in the board control aspect, she's a bit pricey in that regard. Which makes her a bit slower compared to other troops in the game. From a mana accumulation perspective. Of course, if you get a bunch of excess mana on a team, then it won't really matter as much. If you're using her like a 3rd slot, 4th slot, the Mistralis that is. That's still a liability on her nonetheless. Yeah, well, we've been having a wonderful weekend and been staying safe out there with Easter around the corner. Only 1 week to go till Easter. Are you guys doing anything for it, given the circumstances? Also, I just realized I'm using Rowan on this team. This is not a battle you should use Rowan on, but should be fine, hopefully. Should let me do that first. They have spell reduction. And I'll make sure we guarantee get the kill there. Staying at home, I know, right? Depends on the weather. There we go. All those down. Let's go clear out some dungeons. Switch over to a little bit extra benefit. Also, I just was using the other team with the wrong banner. I just realized, whoops. Not that big a deal, though. Also, don't forget, Bounty Hunter's still going. Obviously, we ended up finishing that out pretty much right at the beginning of Friday. But it's still going. So if you're going to make leaderboard, or if you're going to go and... go for full completion on rewards, or just do more battles to get more rewards. You have until, how many more hours? You have until 6 hours and 33 minutes at this exact moment in time. And obviously, once this stream is up, it'll be less than that, but you can easily just look at the event page to see exactly. Also, don't forget, it's Diamond Day, so it is definitely worth throwing 50 gems to go get that. Have to do at least one battle first, though, which is pretty easy to do. Easy way to do that, if you're struggling with them in early game, is once you get Mang Weapon, at around level 100 something, you can just run Mang with pretty much anything behind it and you'll be fine. Especially if you have Apothecary or something similar. Or Leprechaun, just to mana feed it. Okay, what am I looking for? I'm looking for, you. Where'd you go? I'm looking for you. And we'll throw down Phoenicia at it. Hey, you're burning out on the game a little. I don't know. I found throughout Gems of War, I've never actually at any point like quit Gems of War. like I have quite a few other games where I kind of come in and out. There's definitely been times where I've played it less or more than others. Obviously, right now being a time where I'm playing it slightly less than I normally do, but still playing it a decent amount. But there's never been a single instance where I've like quit Gems of War ever. Nor do I think I ever would until it actually, you know, servers go down. I know, I'll never quit. I have no intention to. Hello, Zeddicus, welcome. And hello, Morbarashi. Your opinion on the new Mythic after playing with it? It's above average, but I feel like she isn't useful in most situations. She seems a lot better on paper than she actually is, because I feel like the biggest thing that she has going for, or the main thing that's situational with her. The biggest issue I found with her is what I mentioned earlier. She has too high of a mana cost for her board control. Obviously, she's not just a board control, but I think they overly priced her ability because they were scared of how strong an extra turn with board control would be. It should be more closer to like a 22 mana cost. If she was lowered by 3 mana, I feel like she would have a lot more potential. But her current mana cost makes her very, very, very situational due to it being the highest mana cost of any Infernus-like troop, which is quite a bit of a liability, given that other Infernus-like troops are pretty much similarly as good to her, like Infernus, Obsidian, stuff like that. So the fact that she has the highest mana cost of them is a little bit unfortunate. Let's see, what was the other question there? Was there another question there? Looked like a 2-part question. Oh no, that was 1-part question. Let's see. Oh yeah, is the stream buffering a little bit? Yeah, if you ever are having a buffering issue, you can change the quality of the stream as well. I'm not sure if it's on my end. From what I can tell right now, it doesn't look like it. I don't have any dropped frames or anything, from what I can tell. But I might be doing it a little bit, though it's not reporting it on my program thing. At least not to a high enough degree that it would want to respond above the threshold. But anyways, yeah, you go under the little cog button, and there's a bunch of different ones that you can set it to. Normally, it'll always go to auto, but there's 720, there's 480, there's 1080. If it might try to default to 1080, which might be one of the reasons why it tries to lag. As of me getting this new computer around, what was it, 5 months ago? We got it in November. I have been streaming in 1080p for every single one of my streams. And if you're on a mobile device or just on a slower connection in general, it's probably a pretty bad idea to try to watch a stream on 1080p, just because it could lag a lot. So you might want to lower it down to like 720 or even 480 if you're on a mobile device. That might lag more. But yeah, do be careful with that because it does go to auto, and generally auto will try to go to the absolute highest it can, and that is really high, 1080, at least for a stream anyways. Anyways, where were we? Let's go, and we finished out dungeons, finished out that. So now we can go farm up Night a little bit, which means let's go hand out a code, because I did say we'd hand out a code after we got down our main dailies, which aren't really that bad anymore. I kind of like the new format that they've done. Obviously, they've been changing it and tweaking it over the last like year and a half or so. But overall, I kind of enjoy the new daily system, as it doesn't require as much time as the previous daily system did, while still giving pretty much the same amount of rewards, which works out quite nicely. Where was I? I need to go grab code. Where's my code section? Where are my codes? I know you're out there. Okay, I believe I gave this one out, but let me double check. Always like checking the one prior to the one I think I gave out, just in case I didn't actually give it out, because that'd be a fail if I miss out on a code to give to all of you. Which also reminds me, we need to remind Salty tomorrow, and I need to go remind her tonight as well as tomorrow. We need more codes. We won't even have enough to make it to Easter. So I need to go ask Salty for codes, and maybe if there's a special Easter code, I'll ask her if she can do something special for us. Not sure if she'll be able to, but definitely worth asking, given that it is Easter next week from now. Anyways, let's go grab this. Copy. Here you guys go. There is the redeem code. Used on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Whatever your game says right over there is what you put in, bottom left. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers, RSY, and all the rest. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. But I'm going to see if she can give us like the egg weapon or something. This was an old event weapon. I think they occasionally sell for $5. I'm not sure, which is probably more of a reason why she wouldn't give it. But I want to kind of see if we can get a special Easter code, because there are a couple Easter things, like Explosion, I believe, is the main one. Yeah, Explosion. This was a really old. I believe this was actually 2015. Actually, this thing's really ancient. But I believe in 2015 Easter, we end up getting Explosion. It's a completely useless weapon. However, most people don't own it, and I don't think they really ever sell it. Other than maybe around Easter time, if even that. but yeah, almost no one owns the weapon, so it'd be nice if they did something like that. I don't know. I'll see if I can get a special code for Easter. No promises, but I will ask her and see if she will give us one. But only time will tell. Anyways, let's go and farm up Knight a little bit. So we're still trying to get up Knight. Main reason for this is 18 stars. So if it was to magically get 2 more troops out of nowhere, it would be 20 starable. And the thing with 20 stars is it does require a level 100 hero class. We don't have any kingdoms that are to that point yet. However, there's a possibility Sword's Edge, among a few other ones, could be the first one. And out of every single one with a high star level, Knight hero class associated Sword's Edge is the only one I currently don't have leveled. So definitely worth considering if you're all the way in endgame to have all the hero classes to level 100 of every single kingdom that's at like 17 or 18 star right now, particularly 18 star. Because any 18 star kingdom that gets 2 new troops in a given week will become 20 stars, the first 20 star kingdom. And a 20 star kingdom does require level 100 hero class, so do be mindful of that. The current full list of those, if you're looking for them, are Drifting Sands, which means the Dervish hero class, Darkstone, which is the Plague Lord hero class. What other ones? What else is that? 18. Sword's Edge, which is the Knight hero class, which we're doing now. Farce of Thorns, which is the Archer hero class. What else? Is that it? And that is it. So those 3. So you'd want to make sure you have Knight. So what is it? Knight, Plague Lord, and Dervish hero class. You want to make sure are all level 100 if you don't already, if you're all the way in endgame. And the main reason for that is if any of these 3 were to get 2 troops out of nowhere in the next like few months, it will require level 100 hero class for those kingdoms. And Farce of Thorns, which is Archer. So those 4 are the only ones. Archer, Plague Lord, Dervish, and Knight. Those 4 would be required to be level 100 if any of those 4 were to get 2 new troops from an event, which most events do bring in 2 new troops to a kingdom. And we currently only know about a month and a half ahead of time, currently right now until next patch. So do be mindful that it could literally be in like 2-3 months. We don't know what exactly will happen then. So we could be getting our first 20-star kingdom in the very, very near future. So good to prepare, which is why we're leveling up Knight hero class. Slowly, because we know we have at least a month leeway. Actually, this is exactly how far we know ahead of time right now. We know we are safe until May 4th. We know up until May 4th, but no further than May 4th. And in that time, none of those are getting 20 stars. However, it could happen literally the week after May 4th. So you basically have 1 month to go get those 3 hero classes to 100 if you haven't already. So worth considering. Obviously, it's really likely that it wouldn't be literally the week after, but it's still worth considering having them leveled if you're all the way in endgame. So worth considering. And a month is enough time to get all 3 of them leveled if you haven't started. Might take a little bit of grind, but there's enough time. So we are getting another hero class within that time. The one for Sinner Mirage. I believe that's in 2 weeks from now, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go check so we can get the exact date again. The one for the excuse me, I believe it's 2 Fridays from now. Whatever date 2 Fridays from now is. Yes, April 17th, which is not this Friday, but next week's Friday. Yep, so 2 Fridays from now. We'll have the last hero class added to the game. Not this Friday, which is Vault event, but next Friday, which is the last hero class ever to be added. Which after that, we'll probably do a tier list for all the hero classes as well. That'd be a really good time to do a tier list, since all of them would be added to the game at that point. You know where it's a great time to grind classes? Vault weekends, yeah. Vault weekends are a great time to farm hero classes, because the method we're doing right now is the quickest possible win in the game. So it's the quickest possible win in the game is also the best way to get gnomes. So yeah, doing this throughout all of gnome weekend is the best time to do so. Obviously, you can still get gnomes even when it's not a Vault weekend. However, the rate at which you will be seeing them is substantially increased during a Vault weekend, which is next weekend. I was like, how on earth did that live? Wait, am I not using armor right now? I think I'm using 20% with 8 magic. I forgot to switch out. There we go, 6,000 gold. Yep, I forgot to switch. I was going to say, how on earth would you live from that? But it's because I forgot to switch to armor. Fail. Not that big a deal, though. What is the most effective gold farming method? I believe most effective, actually, right now, is Explore 12 with Skeleton Key, or sorry, wrong order, with Double Cedric, Egg Thief, and Skeleton Key in that order. I believe it's around 400,000 per hour. 400, 450,000, somewhere around there. It depends on what your gold bonus is. But it's like 350 to 450,000 per hour. And the next best that I like to use, though there are others that are slightly better than it, is using Scorpius into Explore 12, because this gives the best token rate in the game, while doing around 300 to 350,000 per hour. It's not as much as the Vault one, or it's not as much as the Skeleton Key one, but you get a quicker rate of wins compared to if you were to use Skeleton Key. 4 Cedrics, no. 2 Cedrics is the most you could viably ever use in one team, unfortunately. Mostly because you need at least 1 mana generator and you need 1 damage source that's based on gold. So for that reason, 2 Cedrics is the most you can ever use in a team, realistically. Same as Ferrous Ra. Generally speaking, you can only really ever get away with using 2 Ferrous Ras. And the same kind of applies to Cedrics. You can't really get away with doing any more than 2 Cedrics for the gold boost. Because anything beyond that, even though it would be higher amount of gold per battle, will be less gold overall. Just because you're winning battles at a slower rate. Rah, Ferrous Ra. Is that a Lady Gaga reference right there? Let's see, we'll take that for now. Get our splits. Kill them all out. Now grab that, get Wayne. So I didn't even double check to see how far we need to go on night, but we shall go until at least 1 level for sure. We need the levelage. 1 level a day, we'll get it there within a timely manner. Which means in about 2 weeks we should be maxed. Well, actually maybe less so, because as soon as the next hero class is coming out, we're going to be switching from night over to the next hero class. So theoretically, I would want to probably farm 100 by 2 Fridays from now, by the 17th, which means we actually have 12 days. So we can still manage that, 12 days. That'd be more than 1 level per day. That means on 3 days we'd have to do, what, 2 levels? And then we'd get it all the way there. So it'll definitely be manageable. Especially since Vault Event would probably get it up a lot. Like, Vault Event itself would probably get it to 100 this weekend. There's a good chance by the end of this weekend I would have it at 100. Let alone by the following Friday. So we should be fine. These Vault Event's a great time to go level up hero classes, as we mentioned earlier. As this is pretty much the meta for farming gnomes, what we're doing right now. It might not actually be the meta for XP, oddly enough. I just still like doing it. But it is definitely in the meta during a Vault Event, just because of how much quicker it wins compared to other options. PvP can end up giving slightly more hero class XP, but it gives less gnomes if you were to doing during a Vault Event. And the main reason I still do this, even when it's not a Vault Event, is mostly due to the tokens that we end up getting. While it's still a small amount, I do favor the little bit of tokens that we're getting over the little bit of extra XP that we're getting, compared to if we were to do PvP respam. I also hate having to constantly keep repicking the repick button. I find it to be a lot more tedious. I prefer the cycle that Explore only has, especially when you stick with only 1 kingdom. There's a nice flow to it. We've been grinding all weekend and only got got only 2 Volkies, not 1 Cedric. Got other useless stuff. You know it's not a Vault Event right now, right? Or do you mean last Vault Event? It's not a Vault Event right now. So if you got 2 Volkies during this weekend, you did very good. It's a Vault Event next weekend, not this weekend. But yeah, 2 Volkies on a non-Vault weekend is actually insanely high. That's like the equivalent of getting 18 Vault keys on a normal Vault weekend. Because Vault key chances, I believe, is about 9 times higher on a Vault weekend. And the reason for that is you have a 3 times higher chance of finding gnomes, and a 3 times higher chance of getting Vault keys from those gnomes. But yeah, if you got 2 Vault keys this weekend, that's the equivalent of getting 18 on a Vault week, if you did the exact same amount of time on a Vault weekend. But yeah, really rare when it's not a Vault event. I think I've only ever gotten about a dozen when it wasn't a Vault event. Maybe a little bit more than that, actually. But it's definitely below 100, that's for sure, from non-vault events. Too bad the game doesn't keep data on things like that. Like how many vault keys total you've ever opened, or in other little statistics like that. They might in the background keep track of it, I'm not sure. But I know ours is public, if they do keep track of it, if even at all. Because you know in the past they've kind of tracked data that we didn't actually know about publicly, about the game. Well, they always do that to some capacity. But you know, like stats that they would eventually add to the game itself, that they were like tracking forever. One of those was actually win streak, which was kind of interesting. Because win streak, when it was first added to the profile, actually put into consideration all wins prior. Because it was something that was already tracked prior to it even being added to the game. There are quite a few data points like that in the game. Quite a few of which we probably don't even know about. You might not have enough event keys for the Mythic or the Legend next week. Well, you can get 10 off of Glory if you have 1,800 Glory. Other than that, of course, the entirety of the green tree gives event keys. And if your guild happens to do a lot of tasks, the epic tasks can end up giving you event keys as well. A small amount across all of them. Other than that, not too many other ways to really get vault keys. I mean, to get event keys. Unless you're at a high level and you can get one every single level beyond 1,000. You might be able to get a bunch this vault weekend. Because not only would you have a chance of getting some from Gnomes and Cedric from the vault keys, but you'd also get some from leveling since you'd probably be playing a bit more and grinding a bit more. Will it be viable? Will what be viable? I didn't see what you ended up mentioning to that 4.4. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, you mean the Legend that's coming out tomorrow? No, I do not believe it's going to be viable. It's going to be way, 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 way too situational. However, it might be used occasionally. It's going to be a hard counter for spell reduction. Or, you know, a card counter for spell reduction. You know, it's going to be a really high spell reduction troop at 75%. It's basically a Gorgoltha in that regard. I feel like the biggest issue it would have is it has a dependency on one of your troops having freeze, which can be really hard to do. It's almost going to mandatory require Frost Mage when you use it for synergy. And the other big issue it has is it can be stunned. Similar to Gorgoltha, you can just get it stunned and then it's just disabled. But unlike Gorgoltha, it does not have cleanse. So when it does its ability, it will not just cleanse off the stun. It will have to deal with the stun. Which I'm kind of surprised they didn't end up giving it cleanse. Gorgoltha didn't always have cleanse, but they gave it to him to make him a little bit better. And I feel like they might need to do this with this troop. Though it feels like they never really rebalance stuff that often. But this troop could really use cleanse on its ability for itself. I feel like if they added that one thing, it'd probably be a lot more viable. However, you can still use it in situations where you know for sure the battle that you're fighting does not have any stun. And still get a similar amount of value from it. Because one of its hard counters will be stun. And its main purpose is to counter high spell reduction. I mean high spell damage. Particularly in second slot against things like Yagway team and stuff like that would probably be pretty good against. Especially since that team I don't believe really uses blue that often. Or uses it for something very, very bad. Because that troop also gets to spam a bunch of blue. Which ends up working out nicely for it. What is the fastest way to level up account level? In the current state of the game, exactly what we're doing right now. There used to be faster methods, however, they were all removed from the game. So at this current moment in time, what we're doing right now is actually the quickest way to gain Hero Class XP. Sorry, not Hero Class XP. It's the quickest way to gain Hero XP, not Hero Class XP. One trophy PvP is actually quicker Hero Class XP, but it's less Hero XP, whereas this is the highest Hero XP. And when I say Hero XP, I'm referring to big level, not small level. The big number that you have for your total level for your hero. So yes, what we're doing right now is actually the quickest way to gain that. It's also the quickest way to do gnomes. It's also the quickest way to win a battle, which is why all three of those things are the same. Because gnomes are dependent on how quickly you can win a battle, and due to how this current EXP system is set up, it is also based on how quickly you can win a battle. Because EXP in this game is based on how many troops you killed, multiplied by your extra soul bonuses. And since there's no way to set higher soul bonuses other than when you win in Guild Wars on a given day and get 100% EXP for a whole additional day, aside from that, which you could do next week, there really isn't any way to gain EXP at a quicker rate. So if nothing else, I guess wait until Guild War weeks and try winning every single Guild War day and then get the 100% every single day and then grind like crazy every single day that you get the 100% EXP. But aside from that, there really isn't any other quicker way than what we're doing right now. Hopefully on a day that you have 100% EXP from Guild Wars. And that would synergize really perfectly if you have 100% EXP, while also simultaneously having Gnome weekends, because those do stack with each other, of course. So hopefully my guild will win on Thursday or Friday or Saturday, so that we can have the extra bonus for the Gnome weekend. So I might actually want to set my strongest team for Thursday then, because I kind of want to win on Thursday so we have the bonus for Friday. Because out of any day this weekend, we will obviously be playing the most on Friday. Given that I've also been doing some Animal Crossing. Let's see, we'll go for that for now. What's the best stun troop? Obsidius. Obsidius has 4 times stun. It's a mythic though, so it's a little bit harder to obtain. The best stun that isn't mythic would probably have to be Corvash, which is a legend from the Leonis Empire. It has some score reduction. It has a double mana drain. It has a double true damage. But the most relevant thing is that it gets to stun every single extra turn. Not as big as Obsidius, but still one of the better stunners in the game. But yeah, Obsidius is absolute best. But it is a mythic though. Oh, so that reminds me, this current cycle for Soulforge is probably ending soon, isn't it? We might actually know what some of the upcoming drops will lead in. Yeah, there are some troops that do have 4 times stun on ability. Another one that has 4 times stun, I believe, is Arcane Golem, right? Pretty sure Arcane Golem has 4 times stun, which is you can get for free for, or pretty much for free, from Hall of Guardians. It's an ultra rare from the Kingdom, so it is super, super easy to obtain. So yeah, if you need like a really cheap, good stunner, I would say, well, I literally just said it. Arcane Golem is probably your best bet. And all you have to do for that is go get some Chaos Shards from Underworld, go to Hall of Guardians, and throw like a few hundred there. And after that, you should likely get at least 1 copy of it. And then boom, you can just use that as your stunner. As long as it hits, I believe, 4 yellow, it'll stun the entire enemy team. And it's the easiest to obtain good stunner in the game that I'm aware of. If you're looking for a cheaper option that you can obtain easily. It also has 50% score reduction, which is decently relevant. It also has 25% spell reduction to synergize with it as well. Class of Leonis Empire does have chance to stun. However, it's such a low chance that it's not worth using. They would need to increase it for it to be viable. They'd either keep it their current % chance, but make it a % chance to stun all enemies rather than one random one. Because the biggest issue with what's it called? With Leonis Empire's hero class is mostly the fact that it's way too random. You don't get to choose where you get stunned, nor can you end up stunning all of them. So you can end up double stunning the exact same thing, or stunning what you don't want to stun. And for that reason, he's a really inconsistent stunner, not to mention it's already a pretty low chance. The best way that they could fix it is keep it at same % chance, but make it that % chance the % chance that it will stun all enemies, rather than just one. They'd probably lower the % chance slightly if they were to do that, but it really needs that change to actually be viable. Otherwise, it's always going to be never used compared to other stunners. It's one of actually the worst hero classes in the game. Even though it's the only hero class that naturally has stun on something other than their weapon. Which obviously every single hero class can have it on weapon. They just set a weapon for it. Actually, I believe that one weapon that came out pretty recently was actually not that bad too. I believe it had triple stun. It had like triple stun bleed or something, whatever it was. Which wasn't that bad for stunning. You wouldn't really want to use it though compared to other options. At that point, you'd just be better going Arcane Golem. But it did have it. Where were we? Keep going back. I just was fixing the aspect ratio. It was bothering me. I accidentally moved it by 2 pixels. What class was it again? What, the one with stun? Or what class are we referring to? Leonis Empire's hero class is called, Warpriest? Wait, why does the Warpriest sound correct? No. Wait, what is Leonis Empire's? I always get it confused with the other one. It's not Dervish. Dervish is Drifting Sands. Gosh, why did I forget its name? It's... Yeah, it is Warpriest. I was right. Yeah, it's Warpriest. I was right when I said Warpriest. I was just second guessing myself for a second. But yeah, it's Warpriest. Is the Leonis Empire one with stun. I was right the first time. I was just questioning it for a second, but yeah, it's correct. It is War Priests. It's the only hero class that naturally has stun, though it's rather underwhelming, because the stun is the only really good thing it has going for it. Every other aspect around it is pretty bad. Not to mention its stun itself is pretty bad due to an inconsistency. However, if you're looking for a stun off a hero, kind of like how you're looking for a freeze off of like Frost Mage, it's worth considering if you like desperately need a stun on your hero. There may be a glitch or something with mobile version of the game. Sometimes when you devour the Vash Dagon, the app freezes. It has done it twice in the past 10 minutes. That is very strange. I don't recall that happening on PC. So yeah, it might be on mobile only. I know there used to be some glitches with them that actually used to soft lock the game, but I believe they fixed it all. Because it was a little bit buggy upon launch. I'm pretty sure they fixed most of the bugs. But maybe they made some kind of update where it shifted a little bit on mobile and might have reverted back to code or something. But yeah, he did have a couple bugs that were actually really similar to that when he launched. But they patched them all pretty much immediately. Or, you know, within like a week or less. He's still a bit weird in that he doesn't have the automatic dispel though. Unlike what was added to, what's his name? Black Beast to make it a little bit more viable, which is pretty much the same premise of Troop as Vash Dagon. They end up adding an invisible dispel to its ability, so that when it targets one of its allies, it can hit through barrier. For whatever reason, they didn't do the same with this most recent mythic, or you know, with the other mythic that does it, the Vash Dagon. I'm not sure why, and it still hasn't been changed to this very day, and it makes him very, very weak. Because a mechanic on an ultra rare that they went out of their way to place like years ago is now better than the mythic in that regard, just because they didn't add the invisible dispel, which means you can't try devouring one of your allies that has barrier on it. Basically meaning you cannot run Vash Dagon with barrier because he will not function properly due to the fact that they didn't bother coding dispel to him like they did with Black Beast. It's actually kind of funny, because in like 90% of situations, Black Beast is actually stronger than Vash Dagon, even though it's an ultra rare rather than a mythic. The only situation where Vash Dagon tends to be better is if you specifically need Vash Dagon for its last trait curse. If you're not using it for that, plus its ability, it's generally not worth using. Because there's better curse options out there, and there's better damage options out there. However, if you're using both of them together, then it could be worth considering, particularly with a heavy Brown team, because Browns end up using it pretty well, given that he needs Browns to curse the enemy, and it synergizes with things like Iron Gut if you're going down that route, as well as a few other options. Okay, let's get a free full mana. Grab that, dead. Okay, they are aware of the Vash Dagon bug. That's good then. Hopefully it'll be fixed next patch or sooner. Actually, when even is next patch at this point? Because of coronavirus, it's probably getting pushed back a bit compared to what they were planning. But hopefully it's soon. Based on when they're currently planning, it's probably within the next month or less, so you could probably expect a patch late April. It has yet to be confirmed, but there is probably going to be a patch late April. A 4.9 patch. Or maybe due to coronavirus, or 4.85 patch, who knows. But we are likely to get a patch before the end of April, though it has yet to be confirmed. I'm not even sure if they're doing a beta test for this next one, because they still haven't even sent out the forms yet, I don't believe. Have they yet? Or did I just not notice? They haven't given out the forms yet on the forum to apply for next beta, right? Because they were going to do that before next beta. Oh, hey, we gained our level. Nice. Our shiny level 85. We're getting there. 15 more to go. But yeah, they didn't add a form yet. I was going to share it with everyone when they did, but I don't think they did yet. Oddly enough. And hopefully they'll get around to it soon. If they even remember it. Given everything going on, they might have just completely forgot. Wouldn't be surprised. Gosh, as soon as the stream ends, I should probably go take a nap. Or I should say sleep. So I can wake up nice and early to go do the video. Especially after what happened Friday. I need to catch up on sleep a bit. So if anyone still has any other questions, do let me know. Otherwise, we probably will start slowly wrapping up a bit here. And of course, tomorrow we'll have the event video. Then tomorrow night we'll be messing with prepping for Guild Wars. And the rest of the week, we'll be messing with Guild Wars, messing with the Battle Crasher, messing with Volt Event this weekend. Similar like we have been. We might only be doing the Gems of War morning stream on Friday, though. We might not be having a Saturday Gems of War morning stream, so do be aware of that. But we'll definitely be 100% doing it on Friday, of course. As we always do. And we'll still be doing the nightly ones as we always do. Same time as always, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. I mean, every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would the fastest team be for Bounty level 20? That includes Hero for Class XP. Wait, what do you mean by Bounty level 20? Oh, Bounty Hunter. That also includes Hero. Probably just Mang. Running Hero with Mang and using either Excavator, Turtle, or Werewolf to feed it mana. Not all of them, obviously, because you need to keep the captain in your team. But using any combination while still using the captain of the Turtle or Werewolf or Excavator to feed it brown or red mana and just run Mang into killing everything. Just throw down Mang, take Skull, 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 and win. Also, if you're using Hero class that can barrier on brown, it would work even better. If you happen to have any Hero classes you haven't maxed yet that barrier on brown, which include things like Plague Lord, Titan, Priest, or sorry, War Priest, or sorry, not War Priest, gosh, Rune Priest. What other ones? So Rune Priest, Titan, Plague Lord, Sentinel, and Monk. Those 5, I believe, are all the ones with barrier on brown. They would work the best with it if you haven't leveled any of those 5 yet. Is there a thing that barriers all allies? I don't believe there is, other than Dawnbringer. I believe the mythic weapon of Dawnbringer is the only thing that actually has a guarantee 4 times barrier to all allies. There's some things that can kind of cheese it and kind of get to that point, like the Vinya extra turn spamming like crazy, and a few other things like can like place barrier, like the very useless Storm Shield from Stormheim. But no, as far as 4 times, I don't think there's a single one, which is kind of weird because the mythic in Stormheim should really be changed from 1 extra barrier to in a random ally to 4, like the entire team. But yeah, there's only troops that can do it. There's no traits that can do it. There's Dragonian Monk, which can 4 times barrier. There is Dawnbringer that can 4 times barrier. And I think there might be one other option we're forgetting. Those are the main 2. Dragonian Monk in early game and Dawnbringer in later game. I don't believe there's anything that can consistently 4 times barrier other than those 2 options unless I'm forgetting something. I'm pretty sure those are the main 2. Dragonian Monk's an ultra rare. That's actually available next week, by the way, in event key drop table. So if you don't have it and want it, you can get it very easily with some event keys. Like 5 to 10 event keys would probably get it tomorrow. If you're going to go open event keys after, or for next event. So if you want to get that, that's going to be super easy. And then the harder one to get is Dawnbringer, which is 1.3 million souls among a few other resources. But obviously the hardest part is 1.3 million souls, which is a lot for early to mid game. Yeah, Sentinel's a really fun hero class. Only thing holding it back really is the same thing that kind of holds Monk back. It's the fact that it doesn't have like a natural mana start, but it's still really good. It's the tankiest hero class in the game actually. It has a chance to barrier allies. It has barrier on brown to itself. It can start with barrier. It has 40% score reduction. It has a lot of things going for it. That basically makes sure it doesn't die, which is pretty good. But anyways, any other questions, anyone? Otherwise, we will probably be wrapping up for tonight. We'll cover the video sometime tomorrow, hopefully by noon. And then we'll be streaming tomorrow night as we always do, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 1 hour prior to now. And we'll mostly be setting up some Guild Wars stuff and going from there. And then on Tuesday, we'll have ourselves a faction. Wednesday, we'll have the new pet for Easter. Thursday is Dragon Guard hero class. Friday, we have a nice Vault event going throughout the entire weekend. And that's pretty much the rest of the weekend. Is just Vault event spam to grind it out for whatever amount of grind you want to get on it. That X thing can barrier your entire team. If you hit 4 yellows, Dragonian Monk will barrier your entire team. The X shape is based on how many yellows you hit. And if you hit at least 4 yellows with Dragonian Monk, you will barrier your entire team. I can even go show that real quick. But, yeah, it barriers your entire team. I can go show it. 1 second. Let me go to switch my team real quick. But it 100% barriers your entire team. I can go show it. As long as you hit 4. If you hit 3, you will not, obviously. And it doesn't retroactively see which ones have barrier. So, for example, if you have 1 troop with barrier, and 3 that don't, and you then go use Dragonian Monk to hit 3, it doesn't guarantee you the chance of automatically having your entire team because it randomly chooses them. But let me just go build a team real quick to go show. Yeah, Monk can definitely barrier your whole team, as you'll see right here. It's actually the cheapest thing in the entire game that has barrier to all allies. What was the other thing I wanted? Double Leprechaun and... Oh, really, do I need anything else? Just spam Leprechaun. There's a bunch of Leprechaun into Monk. There we go. I will set our banner into a bunch of yellow and brown. Sure, why not? And minus his green doesn't matter for this. Grab our tribute. But he definitely has buried everything. I'll go show it on Summers. I'll just do it on this battle. It doesn't matter if we lose or not. So we'll go and not that. Where's my battle? What was the team I was just going to show? I didn't change the name, so it's not that one. It was that one. But yeah, as soon as we cast this, you'll see it does 4 times. Just go show it real quick. So we'll take that, throw an explosion. And right here, hopefully I have 4 times. Is that 4? 3? 3? Of course it wouldn't have any 4 alignment. Well, you can only get 3, so you'll notice here we'll get 3 barriers. And as you can see, we have 3 barriers. There, there, and there. But yeah, he can 4 times barrier. You have to hit 4 yellows, but you will get 4 times barrier. So right here, he'll barrier our entire team. So you'll notice he'll place a barrier animation off of everything. So as you see right there, we got it. And now everything is barriered. Yeah, he barriers on yellows. So you have to hit enough yellows for him to barrier everything. Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry, I missed your question. What was your question? Can you use 2 of the same troop in Guild War attack? Yes. You did not get penalized at all for using multiple of the same troop in Guild War offense. You can quite literally use 4 of the exact same troop. While obviously isn't advised, you would not get penalized for it. At least not in the sense that you're using the same troop. You'd probably get penalized because you're winning a lot slower, and in the sense that you wouldn't get scored as well as on all the other aspects. But no, you get no penalty for using multiple of the same troop. However, it is still not advised to use more than 2. However, you can use double Gob Truffle with no penalty offensively. However, defensively you cannot. Same as whatever else you want to run. Same as if you want to do double Queen Beatrix. Actually, using Queen Beatrix the first time she's getting in this Guild Wars, if I'm not mistaken. So if any of you want to try Beatrix teams, she would be a potential option this week. I don't think I am going to, but do keep in mind she is one of the more relevant things that have come in the last month that is usable for the event, for Guild Wars. So it is worth considering if you like using her. I'm personally not a huge fan of her. I know some people are, but it's worth considering if you do like using her and can find a decent team that will work for you on a given day. Is your guild super serious about Guild Wars? We're decently serious about it. We're not like hardcore about it, but we're in like bracket 4, bracket 5. My guild was, when Guild Wars first came out, we were the first guild to make first place in Guild Wars. The very first Guild Wars we made first place. So we were pretty serious about it. But over time we got a little bit more casual while still being pretty serious about things. But yeah, we're around 4 or 5 bracket these days, I would say. I think we're at 4 bracket for next Guild War, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so that's not like excessively bad. It's obviously still pretty high, though it could be higher. Though the loot for Guild Wars is pretty bad these days unless you're in bracket 1. So not really worth fighting that much, especially since bracket 1 is a lot more contested in the current state of the game compared to before. Like if you were not like flawless every single day, you would get kicked almost from going to really big guilds. Is because of how high of a score you need. Like you need to be averaging 9,400 every single day, pretty much, if not higher. Ideally 9,600 plus every single day. But anyways, guys, I will catch you guys later. I'll see you guys soon. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe from the virus, and as I mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow, same time as always. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. And we'll be back with the video very soon, going over the event week, going over Soulforge, going over pretty much everything we weren't able to go over now, as well as the summarizing everything as we always do every single Monday. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. It's greatly appreciated. And stay safe out there. Goodbye, everyone.